Yo, what is going on, guys? Namas here, and today, I know it's been a while, but I also promised I was also going to be doing this, so I'm doing it today. I'm making a new top 10 list for Anime Cross 2 characters, and the reason why I'm doing this is because a lot of you guys have been asking me, well, Simon, you do realize like 20 more characters have been added since like your last one, because I believe last time I did it was only like, it was up to like Bakugo, and that was it. I don't even think Killa was added whenever I did that video. He might have been in there, but I don't think so. But shout out to Entertaining Dennis, he's my one friend. He's going to be the test dummy, and he's also going to be using Meliodas, because Meliodas is a big problem. A lot of these characters can actually counter Meliodas, which is actually really good. So, I'll see you in the match, and I'll be showing you the top 10 characters. Now, for the first character, guys, I'm going to be showing Luffy. Now, the reason why I picked Luffy, even though he's a starter, and starters are generally not as good as actual new characters that come out normally, when it comes to Luffy, he has some interesting moves, such as, well, Gum Gum Pistol. Dennis, try to react to this with your full counter. See? You can easily probably react to it from afar like this. But when close range, you can just simply spam like this. And if you start hitting them and stunning them, then they really can't do anything. Now, and the server is somewhat nice, so that kind of sucks, but there's also Bazooka. So Dennis, please hold and block real quick. Yeah, that thing is going to take up a lot of their stamina. Plus, Gatling Gun also got a buff to where it can actually charge up faster. And what Gatling does is just simply a barrage of punches that actually do a ton of damage. Not only this, but you can also kind of just spam it because it doesn't have a cooldown. But since you also keep spamming it with no cooldown, you can also press C to let go of it whenever you want to if you do miss. For example, if I want to like hit him from here, you just do that. So if he ever does escape it, for example, like if he's on like the edge of it, he can easily just walk out of that and then just go bam, back, hit him again. So let's go heal up while I transform. The new moves for his form is actually an instant move called Gum Gum Jet Pistol. If I simply press Z, bam, instantly hits him from afar. If I'm locked onto him, which I don't want to lock onto him because I'll probably actually kill him. And the second move is Jet Bazooka, which actually can fling you back from the direction you're not from the opposite direction that you're facing. And you actually travel across the map very quickly like this. And then, of course, the third move is, well, Gatling Gun again. But much stronger, and you actually charge up fully very quickly. And now look how fast I actually catch up to my opponent. Look, I'm already basically there almost, halfway. The amount of distance you can travel with Gum Gum Bazooka, or Gum Gum Jet Bazooka, is quite fast. So Dennis, I would like you to 1v1 me real quick. Now I want you guys to follow how I play with him. I know that was a pretty uneven 1v1 because in fact I also have custom stats on my Luffy, but when it comes to stats on my Luffy, you definitely want at least 100 stamina, 100 damage, and 100 health. Now my stats are pretty absurd with quite some health and damage, but when it comes to stats for max level, I would recommend 97 health, 100 damage, and 100 stamina. Moving on to the next character. Alright guys, for the second character I'm going to be showing you guys, it's a very obvious choice, and I bet you all would have predicted that this would still be in the top 10 as UIOM and Goku. Now, this one move is a Super Saiyan Blue Kamehameha, which is one of the biggest beams to actually do one of the most damage. Now, it's not too big, but the amount of damage it does as this, like, it's not too big, of course, but it does go really fast. You can travel across the map pretty quickly. Not only that, but it's one of the most damaging beams in the game for a character that it doesn't even require much stamina. I do have infinite stamina, but I believe it, yeah, it takes about a bar and a half of stamina, which most beams actually cost about like 3 bars to 2 bars of stamina, which is actually really good. Not only this, but he also has a teleport move, so Dennis, stand still real quick. So yeah, with a teleport moves are very overpowered in this game. You can teleport them. Let's say I teleport them, and I want to use my Super God Shock Flash, which is a point-blank close range move. And if he touches that around that blue area in front of me, then he will take a lot of damage. It actually is a very powerful move. Especially, let's say, you know, Dennis, you teleport to me. Bam, I just hit him just like that. Dennis, go heal up real quick. Now, when it comes to UI Element's form, you can actually move around with this Kamehameha, and it will do actually slightly more damage from what I'm aware of, and you can also move around with it, and of course, it is bigger. Not only this, but UI Omen actually gives you a 50% dodge rate when in form. So Dennis, start attacking me real quick with your melee. And this is just simply 0 dodge rate, so upgrading your dodge with UI Omen is actually very useful. His second move is a air punch type thing called Shockwave Fist, so if I were to hit him from afar, I could actually very easily do that. And then he also has his teleport move, obviously. So that's basically UI Omen. definitely one of the most strongest characters in the game. Still to this day, as being one of the first ever characters to be, like, it was actually, like, yeah, the first ever character to be added. One of the newer characters actually to be added after beta release. Like, when this game first came out for free, UIOmen was the first character to be added. Everyone basically has it, but now it's like, it's not too rare to see them, but like they're pretty uncommon though, but they definitely are the most damaging ones. If you guys don't have UIOmen, then try out UI Goku, like regular Master Ultra Instinct Goku, because he's definitely also really strong. He's very similar. He also has Godly Display, which you can also hold in and counter Meliodas. So yeah, that's basically UIOmen. Alright, so for the third character of this list, I'm going to be picking Meliodas now. For obvious reasons, Meliodas is definitely one of the most overpowered characters in the game when it comes to full counter now. He does definitely take a lot of skill, and to be honest, I'm not the best when it comes to Meliodas. Sure, I'm good with perfect blocking, but using full counter and conserving stamina and whatnot does take a lot of skill. So Dennis, charge up the Final Flash whenever you're ready. Now guys, this is the most overpowered thing about Meliodas right here. See how I took no damage, but he took all that damage? Look at that. He just lost all of his health because he has a damage build. And the thing is about this game, guys, most characters, or people playing this game, have glass cannon builds. And by that, I mean they have like 200 damage, maybe some stamina, but like no health whatsoever. And there's actually a lot of people that do that type of build. I agree with them, like that's a really good strategy. You know, you'll like one-shot anyone with a single beam. But when it comes to Meliodases, they can just simply hold in full counter and just hold it in for like a few seconds and just easily just destroy your health. So Dennis, charge up like a big bang attack, for example. See, that thing's pretty fast. And again, this does take skill to also master. It's like perfect blocking, but much harder, I guess. Use it again, Dennis. And you can see that did a lot of damage. Now, it doesn't actually hit him with the second explosion. It only hits with the initial impact. Because since I'm not getting actually hit by the big bang attack, it doesn't actually cause a second explosion. Now, he also has a teleport move, which is instant dash, and a C move is just simply a grab move. Here's the teleport move, or grab move in action. You actually do have to be point blank though, and actually, oh, I just killed Dennis on accident, my bad. Alright guys, also a really good tip for sword characters, including Meliodas, is that whenever you teleport to your opponent, you actually teleport behind of where they're facing towards you. So for example, if someone's charging you a beam like Dennis right now, he's a Goku, okay? If you're charging a beam, I accidentally charge up my teleport attack, I can always shoot it right now, and I can teleport behind him and take like no damage. Now, of course, you have a health build, or you can use full counter, obviously, but if you don't have the stamina to be able to charge in full counter for that long, then you just simply teleport them. And this also includes a lot of characters like Zoro, whatchamacallit, Asta, other sword characters that can also teleport, so it's a very overpowered technique that you can do to be able to teleport your opponent behind your opponent whenever they shoot a beam at you. Now, for the form, on the other hand, pretty cool animation as well. You actually are invincible while transforming, if you guys aren't aware. His first move is a dark sphere of energy, or whatever you want to call it. It also does track on. It actually does a ton of damage for something so simple. The second move is a beam you actually charge up for quite some time. It actually isn't too big, but it is around the same size of the Omen Super Saiyan Blue Kamehameha. And the third move is just another grab move, I believe. I've actually never even tried it out. Dennis, get up here. I want to test it out on you. The C move. Yeah, you can't even use the C move because it isn't supported by the sword. Alright guys, so me and Dennis are going to be 1v1ing Meliodas versus a Goku. Now, I know this isn't the best situation, but it's pretty good, because, he's a Goku with a beam, Meliodas with a teleport move, full counter. It's pretty good. It's going to go pretty well. Alright, Dennis, 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, he's transforming. Crap, okay. Teleport. Oh my god. But yeah, as you can see, now of course I have infinite stamina, because, I'm just that type of guy, but if you don't have too much stamina, definitely do get stamina on your Meliodas. For builds for Meliodas, I recommend doing stuff like either full health or full stamina. Either of the two would be really good. For health, you can take damage, but you won't be able to use up full counter that well. But with stamina, you're basically just there, a sitting duck that can't really take any hits. If you do take hits, then you're kind of just dead. But if you do have good reaction timing, and you can just simply hold in full counter for a very long time against beams and whatnot, then you should be good. Alright guys, for the fourth character of this list, I'm going to be using Zoro. Now, Zoro is a very interesting character. Now, fun fact of the day, Zoro has one of the strongest teleport moves in the game. Reason being is because he has a sword, and sword moves already do a ton of damage, but for whatever reason, he is the strongest teleport move in the game. Now, my build has, I believe, 500 damage, which, mixed limit break stats are really good. That right there, that just did 61 damage for a teleport move. Dennis, block real quick. Just hold and block. If you guys remember the Thunderbolt meta, that thing could actually break through people's blocks. Same with this teleport move. If they don't have much stamina, block again, Dennis, they can't really do much if he's fully charged up. Right there, I just destroyed all his stamina and just did pretty much all of his health. Now, the second move is actually a very useful move called Bird Dance. Now, it doesn't really seem like much at first, but Dennis could get health actually. So let's say I'm using Bird Dance, or at least I'm like close up to him. This is actually the best opportunity to be able to use Sword Dance because it's almost impossible to react to it. I need someone to go like that and do some easy damage. Now, it doesn't do too much damage, of course, because, you know, it's a very quick type move. Dennis, how much damage does this do to you? So according to Dennis, that did 26 damage. Now, that is with 500 damage build, of course, but if you, I do recommend, though, a type of damage build with Zoro, mostly because of the fact, though, his moves, they don't do the most damage, except for his teleport move and his C move, which I will show you in a second, again, but in his base, or I mean form, excuse me, does a ton of damage, in my opinion. So for the C move, again, it's just simply called Pound Phoenix. Now, what this is basically just an AoE that swirls around you. The more you charge out, the bigger it is and the more damage it does. Now, with a big damage build like mine, you can one-shot anyone, and I mean anyone. Even with like a 200 health build, you can one-shot people with Pound Phoenix, which is just insane. And of course, you know, Bird Dance. Let's say I get close to my opponent. Let's say I like teleport to him real quick. I can simply teleport, Bird Dance, and just, you know, combo into that any way I like to. So Zoro in his base is already super strong. So for the form, it's pretty simple as well, actually. It's just simply some particles, and what's actually really nice about this form is that it's instant. So let's say I'm just simply running around. For most forms, you have to like stay still and like charge up, for example, like as if like I had to charge up like this almost, and kind of just wait for a few seconds. And most of the time, for most forms, you can actually get hit while transforming. Now, some forms, again, like Broly's or like Jaren's or someone with a larger type form that takes a lot of time, you actually are invincible while doing it. But you're standing still for a long time for someone to like charge with a beam on you still. But when it comes to Zoro's form, it's just instant, just like that. And just like that, I can get close to my opponent and do like around 2 times the damage. I actually believe it's like 1.5 times the damage. Not like this, but my teleport move, instead of doing 61 damage, it does, let's see, 78. So yeah, so that's about like 25% to like 50% more damage. Actually, yeah, it's actually around 25% more damage. So that's still not too much, but it does do a lot more damage. And of course, Pound Phoenix is even bigger, does even more damage, and it's just insane the amount of range it has. Like, let me just charge up one more time. Dennis, stay still. And just like that, all of his health is gone. So, Zoro, in my opinion, is definitely one of my favorite characters, and I just simply say one of my favorite characters. Not my most favorite character, but he definitely is a really fun character. Not only that, but since he also has a sword, guys, and a teleport move, he can actually teleport behind beams, guys. Teleport behind beams, so unlike Meliodas where he doesn't have full counter, he can still teleport behind beams, and you don't even have to worry about those things. And not only that, whenever you teleport behind their beam, and they're still using it, you can just simply use like Bird Phoenix, or Bird Dance, or Pound Phoenix, one of those two, and get some easy damage, just like that. So for the 5th character on this list, guys, I'm using Sasuke now. Again, Sasuke is a big part of the meta. However, though, I actually haven't even seen most people even using him anymore, but in general, Sasuke is actually a really good character, which I'll show you in a second. The reason why Sasuke is so good as well, he can counter beam. So Dennis, use your beam real quick in your Meliodas form. For example, I charge up my Chidori real quick. I can simply run through his beam and not get any knockback whatsoever. Now again, I did just stand his beam like an absolute idiot. Let's say he uses it again. You see right there, guys, you can run through beams and whatnot in other moves. If, let's say, Zoro is using a Pound Phoenix army, or, Asa's using Black Hurricane, any of those moves that do damage to you or, like, stun you, you can just run right through them, which is really good about Chidori, is because it gives you no knockback. Same with Rasengan, but Chidori is the same as Rasengan, but you can just use instant, run up to your opponent as well, and easily gets off some easy damage, just like that. Plus with Chidori, you can combo into it with your Amaterasu, just like that. My Amaterasu would actually land. And just like that, you got off like some easy damage. So Sasuke in general is a very overpowered character that is very aggressive. Not only this though, he also has a ranged move, which is actually really nice, called Fireball Jutsu. It is fairly big and pretty easy to hit, but sadly does not track. But if your opponent again misses a beam, for example, I can simply shoot it at them and get off some easy damage, just like that. Now when it comes to Sasuke's form, similar to Zoro, it is instant, which is also another big benefit. Now all of his moves are pretty much the same except for Chidori, which is called Black Chidori now. If you also do, you actually, fun fact guys, charge up your Chidori. So if you want to do maximum damage, you can charge up for actually a few seconds and do a ton of damage. And with the damage build on Sasuke, you can just do like over 70 damage with a Black Chidori. So that's Sasuke in general. And in my opinion, you should probably get like, I'd say 200 walk speed and 97 health. Because with 200 walk speed, you can get around the map very quickly with Chidori, which actually speeds you up as well. If you did not know, Chidori can speed you up. And not like that, but with health, you can tank certain hits like beams or whatever and just simply run through them without a single worry. So that's basically Sasuke in general. On to the next character. Now for the 6th character, guys, we're going to be using King. Now King, as many of you guys know, is very, very cancerous. And one reason why I say this is because of how overpowered moves are. For example, for a Z move, you can simply run up to Meliodas, press Z, and just basically instantly do that amount of damage without any effort. And the second move, which is already very overpowered, is this move, which actually has one of the biggest pull-ins in the entire game, and it's basically impossible to escape. And just like that, someone can lose up all their health in a matter of an instant. And then his C move, which actually in his base is actually pretty bad. I don't recommend using except like baiting out like a full counter, or maybe like a block of some sort, and then you rush up on them, but it basically just spawns a big sunflower and it shoots a beam at your opponent, wherever you're aiming. Now for King's form, it actually has a very, very cool concept. Let's say charging a beam, I go to transform, dense release your beam. I can pretty much just evade all of his hits just like that, even if I don't actually perfectly do it. You saw right there, I just perfect block the rest of his hits just like that. Now for his moves, they all become very overpowered. His Z move, the arrow, or whatever you want to call it, the spear, becomes bigger and does a ton more damage. And his X move, which before, you know, you're standing still and whatnot, so if they were to escape from it, you're pretty much very vulnerable, but instead, you can move around while doing it, combo into that with all your other moves, and just do a ton more damage. Plus the Sunflower move also does a ton more damage and a lot more range, and it's even bigger. Plus you can also snipe with your spear. So for King, I'd recommend probably just doing maybe around 150 damage and just put the rest into health. Maybe 100 damage, 200 health build. I don't know, whatever you want to do, because King in general, you can literally do any type of build, and he's good. Alright, so for the next character I'm using Aladdin. Now Aladdin is very interesting. For a build for Aladdin, I would recommend probably some walk speed, damage, and health. Stamina wise, he doesn't really need too much stamina. Maybe have stamina if you really do like that, but his first move is basically just Kibla's Blaster Ball. Nothing too special. Does have pretty good tracking, does a pretty decent amount of damage. His second move is a huge fireball, which you can charge up, zoom in, and easily aim. It does also track, surprisingly. You would think that this type of move actually wouldn't even track, so in fact how big it can be, but let me see this real quick. Yep, it tracks, and wow, that hitbox though. And then his third move, which actually, it's very big. It doesn't do too much damage, but it is definitely very useful to use. It's just a big beam of light / energy. Let's say if this Goku were to teleport to me. Dennis, teleport to me real quick. So you can just simply do that, and I can just counter him by doing that. Now, Aladdin's form isn't anything too special. It's basically like JoJo's form, but it's literally just JoJo's form. He gets a yellow aura around him, and all his moves literally just stay the same. Like his fireball, I believe, gets slightly bigger. I believe his blaster ball might do more damage, but that's really it. Like, there's nothing too special about it. I will show you in a second once I get it. Yeah, so his blaster ball is pretty much staying the same. Yeah, literally just the same. His fireball, though, does get much bigger, actually, and it does a ton more damage. And then his beam of light, yeah, it is pretty much somewhat bigger and does more damage. But yeah, that's basically Aladdin. So for Aladdin, I'd probably just give him a 7 out of 10. He's an okay character. He's definitely good, but he's not anything like absolutely overpowered. If you do, for a character I would recommend for this list, guys, I definitely recommend getting like Gogeta or someone. Now, guys, for the 8th character is going to be Madara. Now, Madara did recently get released about like a month ago, I want to say. Now, the reason why he's very overpowered, his moves all generally take a long time to charge up, and they're very easy to perfect block, but the thing is, the most overpowered factor for Madara is the fact that you can do this. Just simply turn off your lock switch, zoom out like this, and you can pretty much place your C move anywhere called Shatter Heaven, just place a meteor down, and do a ton of damage. You can do this around the entire map. Notice how also far you can zoom out. With this amount of zooming out, you can pretty much just snipe anyone across the map. Let's say I'm all the way over here. This is like more overpowered, guys, than teleport move range. You can legit just like, go all the way over here, place your meteor over here, and bam, just an easy hit. Not only this, but the meteor is one of the most damaging moves in the game. Plus, he also has a move called Fireball, Fire Style, Majestic Destroyer Flame. Basically just Fireball Jutsu from Sasuke, but bigger and does more damage, I believe. Again, pretty easy to perfect block, but whenever you get close, you can suddenly just rush your opponent, and which they don't expect. And again, just spam like all your moves, like your X move and whatnot. And they won't be able to perfect block all that. For his X move, I don't really recommend using unless they're a noob and they don't really know the perfect block. Let's say Dennis is a pro, for example. I go use my X move. You can pretty much purple block this like it's nothing. Again, very easy to see. Yeah, there's also the charge up for a few seconds, and you can also see it being swiped towards him. Now let's say he's running away. Dennis, pretend you're a noob and you're simply running away. Oh no, it's Madara. Well, guess what? I can simply dash towards my opponent and just do that very easily without any effort. Now for his form, definitely not the best form in the game. You are very vulnerable while transforming because you cannot block or use any moves while in that form. Plus you also get hit. So let's say, Dennis, you're charging with a beam, for example. And I go the action with my form. So let's say I'm charging up now. Or transforming, I mean. Look at this. I can't really do much. Now sure, I can walk through the beam or other moves and whatnot, but you can still get hit very much. Now my Madara does actually have a maximum break stats with 200 damage, 200 health, and 197 stamina. Definitely a good build, in my opinion. Now for his Z move, is basically just this. It releases a bunch of dark balls at them. It does slightly track, I believe. Let me just see. Yeah, the tracking is very bad, but it does indeed track somewhat. For his X move, it's just an automatic move. If you lock onto your opponent, it's the best way to use it. And then as for his C move, it's pretty much the same as his other C move, but it's a multiple meteors and it pretty much one-shots no matter what. So again, for Madara, I recommend for maximum break stats is to do the same that I've done, which is 200 damage, 197 stamina, and 200 health. For regular level 100 stats, I recommend doing probably 100 health, 97 stamina, 100 damage. It's pretty much the same as limit break stats, but half of that. Now for the 9th character, guys, I'm going to be using Gogeta now. Obviously for the 10th character, I'm also going to be using Broly, but Gogeta is definitely top tier. The reason why I say this is because he has certain moves in the game. Sure, he also has some bad moves, but certain moves in the game are just overpowered in general. Now, Dennis is going to be using Meliodas. Let's say he's one of those full counter spammers. You know, he's like going spamming full counter. Dennis, just spam full counter on me like this. Like, come on. Like, oh no, super coming at me. Oh no, I'm losing all my health now. Oh no, whatever can I do? Well, guess what? He charges up full counter. I can just simply do this. Charge that up, and he can't really do anything against that. Not only this, but Stardust Breaker, which is basically just Godly Display 2.0, can also do a ton of damage, actually one of the new most damaging moves in the game. Then let's go pick up the health back there, let's do it again. Let's say I'm fighting against Meliodas. He uses full counter, I can simply hold this in for as long as I want, and get off some easy damage. Now of course I've been at stamina, but you guys, I recommend probably doing around 200 stamina, which may not seem like a ton, unless you're only level 100, but for limit break stats, it's actually not too much, but it definitely does help with using Stardust Breaker, because actually it does take a ton of stamina to hold in and charge up. Unlike all these players, it actually doesn't take too much, but again, it does a ton of damage, and it is very useful. Now for 2 other moves, which you guys have probably already seen, is Spirit Blaster, which in my opinion, you guys just shouldn't even bother using, because its hitbox is very wonky. Dennis, just stand still. I just want to show you guys how bad this hitbox is, mainly. Like, if I were to lock on someone, usually it'll hit them sometimes, but other times it won't even do that much damage or whatever. Plus, my Gogeta has, like, I believe 400 damage or 300 damage build. And with that amount of damage, it really didn't even do too much. Now again, he does have a health build, but it only does, like, maybe 50 damage at most, which for a max damage build, according to level 100s, is not very much. And the second move, well, of course, everyone knows of, is Super Kamehameha, which in general is just regular beam. Pretty good. Again, can be full counter, of course, but basic stuff. So for whatever reason, OBS Studio decided not to record the part where I showed Super Saiyan, but all Super Saiyan is for Gogeta is just simply where he's just in Super Saiyan, he becomes stronger, and he keeps the same moves as his base. Now for Super Saiyan Blue, however, he actually gets completely different moves. Of course, the Z move stays the same, Spirit Blaster, but does actually gain a lot bigger of a range. And now this is actually when you want to start using Spirit Blaster, because of how big its hitbox is, and does a ton more damage. And the second move is Stardust Kamehameha, which is basically like Zero, but a ton more damage and much bigger. Basically, yeah, like I said, just Zero, but much bigger. And then his third move is called God Punisher, which is basically like Kefla's Blaster Ball, but 2 times faster and does a ton of damage. You can just see right here, I can just spam it left and right, combo into that with my Stardust Kamehameha, and just do that left and right, left and right, left and right.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Right. Now for the last and final character, as I already said before, is going to be Broly. Now Broly is definitely not the best character, but he is definitely a very viable character. And again, he can counter Meliodas, which is it seems to be a big problem to everyone. And whenever I hear people saying, or whenever I ask people, guys, who do you think the most cancerous character is? Everyone seems to say Meliodas, Meliodas, Meliodas. And I say, why? Because they always spam full counter. I can't seem to be able to counter their full counter. Now, when it comes to Broly, you don't actually have to worry about that. I can just walk up to Meliodas, just use my X move, and just simply grab him, and then charge him on his Z move, and basically just delete all of his health, just like that, in a matter of a few seconds. When it comes to the Z move, it does actually have a limit, but it basically, if you come in contact with a person, it will actually start to explode and create a beam of light, pretty much, like that. And the more you charge it up, obviously, the more bigger damage you can get. Now, the second move, of course, is just a lunge move. It grabs people, and again, you simply combo that in with your Z move and do a ton of damage. The C move, on the other hand, is very interesting. It's pretty much like Meliodas' Dark Sphere, except it just tracks even better. You can charge up pretty quickly as well and does a ton of damage. It actually doesn't do too much damage, but definitely does a lot of damage. Pretty easy to hit as well. You actually can't really see too much until like the end of it, where you do release it, but with the huge amount of tracking it does. So let's say I'm aiming over here and shoot it, it'll pretty much automatically lock onto him. And I wasn't even aiming it near him whatsoever, so very good for tracking. Now, whenever he transforms, on your other hand, he does actually become invincible while transforming, but again, you know, you're not invincible while in your form, obviously. And all of his moves, they're pretty much all the same, except they're bigger, do a lot more damage, including his X move as well, and his Planet Crusher, well, pretty much Spear Bomb 2.0, I must say, and then, you know, you can simply spam your Z move across the map. In general, Broly is just a really big damaging character. In my opinion, top 3 in my books, including Zoro and Gogeta. Those two characters, if you have one of those two characters, then you should be set for this game. So yeah, guys, hope you all enjoyed this episode. Again, shout out to Dennis, Entertaining Dennis, for helping me out with this video. He's a great friend of mine. Without him, I could not have recorded this, otherwise I actually would have done this with an alt, which does make me lag, and that is not possible. But yeah, hope you guys all enjoyed, and I'll see you all later.